Good morning. Hi, Jeremy.
Good morning, good afternoon. It just crossed over here on the East Coast. I was doing a little bop to the countdown music, so
It's a good little beat, isn't it?
yeah, I got a good little beat. Yeah,
Rock
good little
out.
beat happening. That's lovely. How are you this fine Thursday?
I don't want to jinx it, but I am having a good day today. So anybody who was here last week, they probably saw me get kicked out of the live stream. My internet went down, my computer crashed. It was a rough week last week. So
Storms aplenty out there in the Midwest, knocking things over.
yes. Oh man, we had so many storms. Well, and even just yesterday I heard there was like tornado warnings and stuff up near Kansas City, maybe, which is like 4 hours from me. Nope, too much. Too much
Yeah,
going
we had a
on.
crazy storm go through last night. We lost power for like a half a second. And then, it took a little bit of a moment for the internet to reboot and a little bit of a moment for us to get back the Apple TV so we could get back to watching YouTube. But that was our hardship for the evening. So,
No, no, no. When ours goes down, it's like down and you're like no power for like hours and it's yeah, well living out in the middle of nowhere, like there are prices to pay.
right, exactly. There are prices to pay for what you do,
It's
for
it's
where you
true.
live. Yeah. So
So we're
today's
talking about
discussion. Oh, yes.
yeah, we're talking about shoes this week. Oh my
Shoes,
gosh,
shoes,
shoes.
shoes. Not the I mean, my often thing has always been I love shoes, and if you looked at my closet, it is jam packed full of every kind of shoe for every kind of occasion and every color and every whatever. And
Guilty.
but I actually don't like to wear shoes generally. But I feel like if I have to wear them, they better be beautiful and serve the right purpose and all those kinds of things. And I think the color guard and marching band world as it relates to shoes is no different, right? Like you have to wear them. You have to put them on. They're not the most stylish things out there, right? You're not like getting compliments on your band shoe, but there's certain reasons and why to get this shoe over that shoe. And I think when we bring on our guests and all that kind of stuff to be able to have a shoe and really talk intelligently about them, I think is really the great thing.
Certainly. And there's been times when like a good shoe can be like the very tiny little amount of help in like showing off your foot technique and showing off your marching technique or your dancing technique or whatever, to the point that like you're going to have just a better performance. And then if it's something that's really protective and helpful and it just makes your performers feel good about it. So I'm ready. I'm excited to discuss these shoes with you.
Yeah, and it has a lot to do with the right shoe for the right occasion for the right reason. And then, you wouldn't wear tennis shoes to play bowling, right? There's bowling shoes for bowling, and there's golf shoes for golf, and there's running shoes for running because they're all built differently on the inside to take care of the things for that individual activity. And that all of the shoes made by all of the manufacturers that are out there are doing that for the marching world. I just don't think that the marching world as a whole, the bands and the color guards out there know that. I think they just go, well, that's the shoe that we've always worn, or that's that's
Right.
the shoe that we saw so and so wear, and it might not be the shoe for you. And I think that's where this comes from. I'm just tired of seeing people ask the question: A, what shoe should I wear? B, and then B, like how I can get those or how I can change those. If you've got a band that's always been wearing one pair of shoes, it's sometimes hard to transition out of wearing those
Yeah.
shoes because you don't want two different shoes or blah 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 on the marching band field. But I don't really think that it takes away if you're smart, and B, just a little insider information, like a very big portion of the marching bands last year had to wear two different shoes because the stocks
Yeah.
were like
Oh my
gone.
gosh, this stock I dealing with those like shoe shortages last year was just like, wait, what? Wait, like I have a band who they just need like 10 of a certain shoe to like complete their band needs or whatever. But then it'd be like, no, we don't have that shoe. We have these other three kinds. But you can make that work.
Yeah, yeah, and everybody did because you had to. So what does that tell
Yep.
you? It works, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it works. It was fine. Nobody lost a championship because 10 people had a different shoe on. But if you want to,
Exactly.
if you start seeing these shoes and you start, as we are talking about them and you're like, wow, that's a really great one and that will work better for my band than the ones we're currently wearing, then you should think about how you transition that. Like any good marching band or any good color guard show, transitions are the name of the game. And you can
Transitions
transition your shoe
are,
right.
it's not just about the poses, it's about what you do between the poses to get from one
That's
place to
right.
the
That's
next.
right. So transitioning your shoes is just the same thing.
Well, in order to talk about all of these shoes and to show you what we have at Guard Closet, because you're saying like people are always asking, well, where do I get that shoe? Where do I get that shoe? You can get them at Guard Closet. We have Christine here. Hello, Christine.
Hey
Hi,
guys.
Christine. Christine's
And
out.
Christine is,
Go ahead.
she's hanging out at the warehouse in Pennsylvania. And
All
you got lots of consignment
all
shoes there
day.
and new shoes.
Say that
Yeah.
again, Jackie.
You've got lots of stock shoes there. Just
We do. Yeah, we've got a good variety of shoes in stock here. We're kind of phasing that out a little bit, the way we handle that, but of course, we're still working with a lot of vendors as a dealer for any kind of shoes that anybody wants to get. Even though they aren't necessarily in our stock here in Pennsylvania, we're still, working with customers to get them any shoes that they need.
We just happen to have like a whole wall of shoes over there next to Christine. Well, Christine, you're down here right now. Yeah, over there. Over there. Yeah, over there. There's just like a whole wall of shoes that that are there, and we're gonna be offering a lot of those shoes on our Get It Day on June 14th.
Get it.
At pretty good deep discounts. So there's shoes that'll be closeout shoes, and if you have a band that's already wearing these or whatever, these will be available for inexpensive price. And on the June 14th day, you're going to want to tune in all day. 12 to 8 will be every time I say it, I feel like I'm like promoting a QVC like show, and like because my husband like used to work there, it's like in my brain, to constantly like how they do it, because he'd be like, well, we have to watch QVC, we have to like see my shot, because he would do like it would basically describe that he does like the spinning thing on the rock, like he would set up that shot, like that moving video shot or whatever. So then of course he'd want to see them, and I would get to and so this day on QVC we'll be presenting today's special value is so it's every time we talk about it, I'm like, it's QVC for color guard. We're ready.
You haven't lived until you've gone on the QVC tour in the studio. I have been on the QVC tour in the studio.
That is very true. That is very true. Well, I think before we start really deep diving into shoes, we're gonna play a little game with some friends, right?
Game. So we have a couple of contestants here this week. Our lucky contestant, Cheyenne. Hello, Cheyenne.
Hello.
And Grace.
Hello.
Hi, Grace.
All right, Cheyenne, what state are you from?
I'm from Kentucky. I actually just moved back, Western Kentucky area. So.
And what do you do out
Grace,
there?
where are you coming to us? Oh.
So I am a color guard instructor. I've taught schools in West Tennessee, Southern Illinois, and actually we're getting ready to start a independent A group in Central Illinois this winter. So I've talked to Jackie about that a little bit. So she knows some details.
Hush, hush. No spoilers here.
No spoilers.
And Grace, where are you coming to us from?
I'm coming from West Georgia.
And what do you do, Grace?
I'm currently one of the 4 captains at the University of West Georgia in their color guard. And I've taught a little bit. I've taught like a season and a half for my alumni high school, kind of covering until they got a new instructor. And I recently joined drum corps. So
where are you marching?
awesome.
Wait, what corps?
Atlanta TV.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
I joined in because they had open spots, and so like I was joining a little late, and I had my first camp like last week, and it was awesome. Like it was stressful because I was behind, but I learned like all the drill for the opener in 2 days. Super proud of myself for that. Like it was awesome.
Sometimes that's
Everyone
the
was
best
super
way to do
nice.
it. Literally, sometimes that's the best way to do it, right? Wait for a hole to open and then show up a couple weeks in and be like, oh yeah, I got this. Let me just like go right in here. Instead of
The
standing
fast
on the
pace they
field
took with
learning it all.
reviewing was like the best.
Yo,
Like,
yeah.
that was like the best way for me to learn it.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's just like, just throw me in. I'll be good. Here I go. Like, yeah. Absolutely. Although sometimes those are the things of nightmares too. Like, have you ever had that nightmare where you like wake, you're like in the middle of the show and you're like, I don't know what comes next, but I'm just gonna follow this person. And like, yeah, very nice.
I have had that nightmare where you're like standing on the field and the drum major is like giving his like downbeats and you're just like, oh, what? We're about to perform. What? I don't know the show. What's going on? Yeah.
I've had nightmares where I would forget my equipment. Like I would be set on the field and not have a flag. And I'm like, what am I doing here?
Oh no.
Where can I go? How can I hide? Yes, very that.
Yeah.
Well, our game is pretty simple. It's like heads up, like that Ellen DeGeneres game.
Heads up.
Look at that, so what will happen is I will be paired with let's say I'll be paired with Cheyenne. Christine will be paired with Grace. Cheyenne and I will go first. This is very much, a word is going to pop up on the screen and I'm going to describe the word. Cheyenne, we have a minute to get as many as we can. And the most. Yes. You're going to need to blindfold yourself. So as you're, look, Cheyenne is ready.
Got it.
So Cheyenne and I will go first. Jackie, you going to click through the game? You got that? Or you want me to click through?
I think so. Yes, I can click through.
Okay. So it'll be 1 minute on the clock. Jackie will keep score. We can all watch each other play. No helping. No cheating. I don't like cheating. That's not fun. And yeah, so the person with the most in 1 minute wins. Pretty simple. Okay?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
No stress, Cheyenne. No stress. Very easy. Very easy.
No stress.
I think I'm glad that Jeremy and Cheyenne are going first. That way I can see the example and the model so that I know what's going on.
We know how to host, Christine. This isn't our first time hosting one of these.
No, I meant how to
Not
play
the first
game.
rodeo. Okay.
All right, go ahead and blindfold.
The stress.
Deep breaths. Are you ready?
Stress over playing a game on the internet. I can't believe it, Cheyenne.
Here we go. All right, first word and go.
Okay, so this is the performance that's happening right now that everybody's on tour with. It's called
Drum corps?
Yes.
So this is a material that is used in flags that is not the silk, like not poly China silk, but it's like the shiny kind.
Oh, LeMay?
Yes. So this is okay. So there's you come to the edge. Oh shoot, skip. I said it.
Oh.
When you throw a toss and it's not straight up and down, it might be on a
45.
Yes. Killing it. If it's not on a 45 or it's not straight up and down, it might also be
parallel.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh.
So when you're
5 seconds.
Giving it to you and you're it's all in your face and you're giving the best kind of
that was still really good though.
Performance.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That was good though. That's
new record for our game.
Good job, wow. Cheyenne. Okay. Thank you.
No pressure, Christine and Grace. How many did we get? 4, I think.
4. Because you got let's see. You got parallel. 45. This is the one Jeremy said.
Yeah, I was like, it's on the edge.
I don't think I would have gotten that one.
Yeah.
Oh, did we? Did we?
I skipped that one. I think I hit the button. That was my bad.
Oh, okay. And then LeMay and drum corps.
Killing.
Nice.
I was like, I didn't see gymnasium on there. What? Okay.
I will let you click. I will not touch the clicker.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready, Grace? Are you ready, Christine?
Who's giving the words?
You're gonna give the clues, Christine.
I'm giving the clues.
Guessing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
can't
Grace
say
said
the
it.
actual word that's on the
Right.
screen. You have to get Grace to say it.
I got it. Okay.
And she can't see
Right.
now because she doesn't have glasses
She's
on.
She's going to cover her eyes. All right, you ready?
Okay.
And you have 1 minute. So you have to get as many as possible in
I'm
1
ready.
minute. Ready? Here we go.
All right.
And you can skip too.
It's a yeah. You guys told me this was going to be band friendly. You know,
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we'll skip that one.
Oh, there you go.
this is a state where DCI championships are held, next to Illinois. It's famous for a big car race, 500.
Kentucky.
Skip.
Um,
Skip. Okay.
Okay, keep going. This is the dance part of a show. It's all the writing of the dance parts of a show.
Somebody comes in and teaches you.
15
Right?
seconds.
Somebody teaches you all the dance. It's all
Skip.
the movement. This is the
5
end
seconds.
of a this is the end of a rifle. It's also something you sit on.
Oh, time.
It's associated with a cigarette.
Ah,
Oh my
That was good
goodness!
clue.
Oh,
She stumped. We
Oh,
stumped her.
great.
We stumped
Oh,
Grace.
great.
Grace let those nerds. We talked about nightmares before we
Yep.
started, and Grace was just like, nightmares, what?
Oh, Grace.
it's a
She
You
needs
missed
to do
butt,
the
over.
first one was Indiana, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Indiana. Well, the very first one was actually Blade Toss.
Yes.
and I was like, I couldn't have even gotten that one.
Sorry.
But Indiana choreography.
I was thinking that I was getting confused. And I was like, wait, this is the instructor? What? I was confused.
And butt. I just like I like how Jeremy just put it on there like butt, not rifle butt, just butt.
But
It could be anything, right? It could be anything.
Right.
That's fine.
Well, congratulations, Cheyenne. You're our winner.
You'll get a guard closet prize pack sent to you soon.
yay. Woo.
Probably after this Get It Day that's coming up on June 14th, if I'm being honest, because that's
Yeah,
what's
you're
completely consuming the three of us along this top row. We're completely being consumed by Get It Day next week. So
It has been
yeah, stay tuned for that.
everything.
Stay tuned for that. Oh, there's the dogs.
Awesome. Well, that was fun. Thank you guys so much for playing. Thank you for coming. Anybody else who's interested, who's watching, and you want to come and be on our game, I will post the link where you can sign up to come play our game on our Instagram story on at Spintronics Guard. I should put that on the screen. Actually, I keep forgetting that that's like
An
a thing.
option.
It's an option.
That you have. Yeah. Ta-da. Look at that.
Ta-da! Spintronics Guard.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us literally on all of the social medias, and also follow Guard Closet. Hold on, I've got one for Guard Closet too. I just have to type it.
Totally fine.
There we go. Follow Guard Closet. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I don't know.
I'm diving a
Tumblr.
little bit into TikTok. I think you're starting to see.
You're having a little bit of an obsession, you mean?
Oh, don't go
You
that
can't just
far.
dive into TikTok. I'm just saying, like, I'm not nothing against you. That's just how TikTok works.
Yeah, that's true. You can't just dive in. You've got to like fully submerge yourself into it. You can't just tiptoe. Yeah, you got to like deep dive into it. It's just like I often don't know. Like, I feel like I have a lot to say. Obviously, it's me, right? But like, I'm like, I start to get on to like say something, and I'm like, nobody wants to hear that from me. Nobody cares that I'm saying that. Like nobody cares.
It's okay. I
Yeah.
accidentally went viral on TikTok.
I hate when that happens. Was
For
it
what,
like
though?
was it for
It-
something important that you wanted people to know
No.
about, or was it dumb?
No, it was dumb. It's a video of me like taking one of my yearbooks from high school and finding all the emo kids, and it's to that song like
That was you?
there's one of them. I'll send it to you, Jackie.
Oh no, I think I saw it.
Probably.
That
It
sounds
has
like a
like
good
I
source
4
of
probably
violence.
million views, and I'm just like, what?
I'm pretty sure it started a whole trend. Like I've
didn't-
seen multiple
no.
videos of that.
I didn't
Yes.
start the trend, but I followed the trend.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
She
yeah.
then took over the trend, is what you're saying, Cheyenne. You took
Yeah,
over the trend.
basically.
Is that right?
Basically.
That makes sense.
I hate it when that happens. Like I say I hate it. I don't mind when like a lot of people see our stuff. It's just when it actually goes viral, it's annoying because then you get all the like the people who don't know anything, and you get all the like people who just go and find viral videos and hate on them for no reason, and you get like all these wild like, and it's just like I don't even want to mess with all that. It's crazy.
You're scaring me. I don't think I want to. Maybe I don't want to deep dive down this.
People can be mean out there. I always tell them to be
can.
nice though. I yell at them. I'm like, you be nice or I kick you off. That block button gets a lot of
That block
views from
button
me.
gets a lot of action.
It does. It does.
Oh my God. Well, Grace and Cheyenne, thanks for coming on to play with us. Lovely. We'll put you in the green room. You can hang out in the studio backstage. And if you have any questions, feel free. We're answering questions about shoes.
You also have a private chat you can send us messages in too. You guys are like privileged, top tier right there. All right. We'll see you guys later. Okay. Awesome.
And
we do have some comments coming in already. Hi, love your channel. The videos you post are so fun to watch. So yay.
Yay.
I love whenever our videos are fun. So that's cool. Let's talk shoes.
Let's talk shoes. So I think, as I said from the beginning, and I say this all the time as it relates to all items, really, there's an item for what you want. There's a person for what you want. You don't hire an electrician to do the plumber's job. You don't put on flip-flops to do the band shoe job. You don't use, a sheet to be a flag. Like there's things that are made and created for every reason. And I think that the marching arts activity is in some ways starting to catch up to that with some of the items. But when it comes to shoes, there is a right and wrong shoe for you. And by you, I mean you individually. I don't mean everybody should buy this particular shoe. We're not here to promote one shoe over another, because I believe that all of the shoes that are out there for a reason, and you just have to know what that shoe is supposed to be for. So let's start marching shoes, maybe, perhaps. So what do you got back there, Christine, that we can start sort of talking about? Because the marching shoe has certainly gone through an evolution. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's really true. And I mean, I was as you were talking about this, I was thinking about the fact that when I was in high school, I was in a non-competitive marching band, and we were told to just get black shoes. That's it. Find a pair of black shoes. I mean, and some of us had like a dress kind of shoe. Some of us had a black sneaker. I mean, it was just a big mishmash of craziness. And then I also thought ahead when we were talking about to my college experience. And at that time, my college experience, we were sponsored by athletics. That meant that we received a pair of high top athletic shoes from the company that sponsored athletics for the entire university. Okay. We didn't have a whole lot of say. I mean, yeah, they were free. That was great. Here's a free pair. But the band itself didn't have a whole lot of say, to my knowledge, really, about what they were going to receive as far as a marching shoe. I've judged bands that have a mishmash of shoes on, and it's really disappointing to see sometimes because, it is affordable, it's attainable, and, bands can do this. And like you were saying, there's a lot of different options, for what's going to work for, different bands. I think maybe we can start with probably one that's really popular especially for Dinkles, which is a Dinkles Vanguard. So I'm going to go right over here and grab that real quick.
Yeah. So the Dinkles, so there's kind of like, I would say maybe like 4 major kind of shoe dealers, right? Well, 5 if you include Capizio. Capizio obviously
Capizios.
being like the dance, side of things, and their shoes are specific for dancers and stage. They're not really, and inside they're not really creating shoes
Yeah, they're definitely
for
indoor
weather.
shoes.
Yeah, for anything like that. So the general is Dinkles, Drill Masters, DSI, which has a couple of different shoes, and Style Plus, which also just came out with a new shoe. So Dinkles is kind of old. I don't want to say old school, but like one of the original shoe manufacturers. So these 4 all kind of are. So their Vanguard. You have the Vanguard, Christine. Is that what?
I got a pair of Vanguards out, and it's interesting too. But in dealing with shoe customers for like the past 10 years or so, it's really interesting when you say the word Dinkles. Okay, there's a lot of folks who just think that Dinkles are the only band shoe. Okay.
Yes.
We got to get our Dinkles. I'll have band parents, contact us, to place orders and things like that. Well, we need our Dinkles. Well, which Dinkles do you need? Because it's not just one thing, and that's the thing. It's like this big giant blanket term. We need our Dinkles. Well, let's talk about specific Dinkles. So. Like that's why I wanted to start with the Vanguard, because that's a really top seller. I mean, if someone was going to come to us and want something from Dinkles, I would probably suggest this one. There are some other styles of Dinkles, and it's like some other price points and things like this. But to me, like the Vanguard has always been kind of like that middle of the road, not too expensive, not too, inexpensive, very versatile, very useful, standard kind of look, that kind of thing.
And they're black and white. They come in black or white.
Right.
They're $40.95. They have the full range of sizes. The thing that's
wide
interesting. Wide also, yes.
Yes.
The wide widths are available in men's 6.5 to 11.5, and then they go to 12, 13, 14, and then women's 8.5 to 11.5. And the thing that maybe a lot of people don't know that we know that often confuses me is when you're buying these shoes, because they're gender neutral in a sense. The sizes are. Like if it's a 6.5 in men's, that means it's 8.5 in women's, right? So like even when you're placing your order, you could say, you could say it all as men's, you could say it all as women's, like, and that's universally for all shoes across the board in the marching arts world. There are male sizes and female sizes, and obviously in today's society, it kind of feels a little antiquated in a way to say that there's a gender for shoes. But I think if you just think of it in terms of like, if you look at your shoe that you're wearing or that we size you, I don't personally care whether you're wearing an 8.5 women's or a 6.5 men's. It's, it's the same shoe. So when you're measuring it, it's just a matter of what's comfortable for you. But that Vanguard,
when you're placing your order, everybody's speaking the same language. That's huge. Key. And anytime I might work with a shoe customer, I always ask them to communicate to me in all men's sizes. Convert everything, and that way everybody's speaking all the same language, and it's a lot less risk of having mistakes in the order. Well, we meant this. No, you didn't mean this. Let's all get on the same page, because it could be a huge problem then if you place a shoe order, for 30, 40, 50 kids in your band, and then half of them are wrong. And no. Everybody's got to communicate, the same way. And it really helps,
Yeah. The Vanguard. So I think the Vanguard is that sort of like straightforward, basic band shoe. Like, this is for the band that's maybe not super competitive, that's not doing a lot of body. It's kind of like your basic, football band or parade band. Friday night football, like that's your gig. You're not going all weekend long, and rehearsing throughout the whole week. And that's also something to be said that I will also say about band shoes and guard shoes is you should actually be rehearsing in them. Like really and truly, you should be rehearsing in your band shoes, because if you're rehearsing in sneakers and then suddenly you move to this band shoe and you're not used to it, or I mean, then that's going to be problematic. And if you don't want to like ruin the band shoes the whole time, then maybe don't rehearse in them on Tuesday and Wednesday during the week in your rehearsals, but like from like Friday after school, through Saturday's competition, wear that shoe so that you're like, your brain is like, has that in there. And the other thing I want to say universally about shoes overall is they wear out.
Mm-hmm.
You buying an $80 or $90 or $100 pair of Nikes that you might wear 3 or 4 times a week, I would expect those to last about what? A year or two, right?
A year,
maybe
probably.
Yeah, maybe. Their problem is people think they can spend $41 on one pair of shoes and a kid is a freshman, and that's supposed to last for 4 years. And so by the end of like your sophomore, the shoe is like barely a shoe and it looks like it's a million years old, right? Because these are the shoes that are getting wear and tear. Like literally, like you're running around a field in the rain, in the cold, in the heat. Like it's like, and they're usually some kind of leather, right? So it's not like that sneaker vibe. So you can't expect something to last, 3 or 4 years when it's $40. I mean, I don't know anything that's $40 that I expect to last 3 or 4 years, but like, a shoe is certainly one of them,
Cheyenne is in the green room and she made a point. Don't just have like a stock of shoes in your band room that you use over and over and you hand down to people, because those fall apart. And like they're already worn out and they get passed on and really like the best way we found to do this is to have everyone buy their own shoes, or maybe it's covered as part of the band budget that the band buys a pair of shoes for everybody, but they take that pair of shoes with them and they wear it, for the season or whatever, and then that does not come back to the band.
Well, it's really not in general. It's really not advised either for anyone to wear used shoes, because everyone wears their shoes differently, and the way that shoe has been worn. If you have, if you step more to the outside when you typically put your heel down, you're set. I mean, now I realize we have a lot of technique involved here, but still, people are going to wear their shoes in different ways. Okay. Yeah. And if I look at the soles of my daughter's sneakers, they're almost like at an angle because she tends to step on the outside, on the outside of her heels. Well, I mean, that's not going to be the same for every person either. So it's not really very healthy either, orthopedically, if you want to talk of it that way. Right. Look at Jeremy. He's on mute.
I know.
Jeremy.
I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, it's gross. It's gross. I can't take it. I can't take it. Like, it's bad enough when you have to go to the bowling and like wear those bowling shoes, and they spray those at least.
Yeah, they spray those. And you have it on for like an hour and you're fine. Right. But I mean, and I know of a lot of band programs that we worked with as customers would typically buy the students, the boosters or the band budget would buy the students their first pair of shoes that as they went through the program. Then if they had to replace them because they grew, they lost their shoes. That happens too, right?
What? High school band students losing things? Never.
What? Never. That never happens. No, But, then a lot of times then I saw the students would be paying it for themselves. But at least, though, there's a lot of band programs that they're supplying that first pair of shoes for the kids, which really makes a big difference. And
it does make a big difference. It does make a big difference. And the one thing that we offer at Guard Closet is these things called microsites, where you could pick whatever band shoe and whatever other thing that you need for your band and put it directly on our microsite and give that link to the microsite to your students, and they go right to our webpage, buy the shoe, buy the glove, buy the whatever, and it gets, you know, all packaged together, sent to your school. You don't have to collect the money. You don't have to redistribute the money out. Like, you don't have to do any of that. We take care of all that for you, and then you just distribute all the shoes to everybody. You know, it's worked out amazingly for so many groups that, you know, like, you just don't have to spend that time collecting the money.
Right. And I think the other really big thing too with our microsites is that it helps people, it gives the family some autonomy, and you know, they make the purchase. You don't have to worry about the money like you were saying, but they're getting the correct thing. There's lots of things. I mean, it's very easy to go online and look for something, but you got to make sure you get the correct thing. I had this is not with shoes, but you know, even with other equipment that kids need. I had just recently a student's family bought them clarinet reeds. Okay. A whole box of clarinet reeds. They bought them the wrong ones. They bought for a completely different type of clarinet. They bought for a soprano clarinet instead of a regular clarinet like the child was playing. It's a complete waste of money because they didn't know what they needed to buy. So the same, and we take care of that with our microsites. It's exactly the thing that they're supposed to have. There's no risk for accidentally buying something that's incorrect.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to tell them to go and buy their pair of Dinkles, because there's the Dinkles Vanguard, there's the Dinkles Edge, there's the Dinkles Glide, there's the Dinkles formal marching shoe. All of them are different. They basically all kind of look the same, right? But
except for the formals.
And the Edge has that little bit more of like an athletic, like, you know, sort of sneaker feel.
Yeah, you don't want one kid wearing formals and all the rest of the kids wearing, you know?
Right. And then even with drill masters, there's a drill master, and then there's a super drill master. So, you know.
Speaking of, let me go get. How about I go get a super drill master so we can talk.
Super drill master. Okay. The super drill masters are a good example of the next evolution in shoes, right? So like everybody was manufacturing these sort of like straightforward marching shoe. It was just like they're very basic, doesn't move, doesn't have any flexibility. You know, won't give you everything that you need in order to have a more broader program, I guess, right? Because these shoes have more like it has things. I can get into boring details about it and like talk about like blah, blah, blah. But like essentially the Dinkles, the Super Drill Master, and the Dinkles Edge is this, and the new shoe from Style Plus, the RPM, is probably the best example of this right now, because and the only reason why I say that is because it's the newest one, so they've taken a lot of the things from the other ones. But the Super Drill Master is that one that is going to give you more comfort, more support, more flexibility, more stability. You know, it's really an athletic grade shoe, so it's made for the more athletic bands, right? I love there's a group, CBDNA, which is the College Band Directors National Association, and they kind of break up their bands into like show bands, HBCUs. There's another like sort of like other category, and then there's athletic bands, which is like, you know, sort of the bands that are doing that more DCI, BOA vibe, and that's that Super Drill Master. That's that Edge. That's that new shoe from Style Plus, the RPM. Those are the shoes that are there for those types of activities, those sort of athletic actions, right? It's designed to turn. It's designed to point your toe. It's more of a dance shoe design. You know, even you can kind of see if you can show it up close to the screen, Christine. Yeah. It kind of has like a little bit of a split sole there, right?
Yeah,
it's
arch.
Solid.
That arch is what I love, that it thins out right there, because then you can really get the flexibility in the foot.
Yeah. It's a really the Super Drill Masters, and the Edge, and the MTX, I think is also that from DSI is the similar shoe. And then, like I said, the RPM from Style Plus. I think that the RPM from Style Plus has a little bit more of that athletic vibe to it. The Super Drill Master kind of still looks like that traditional old school marching shoe, with just a little bit of a different inside, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it has a little bit different. I mean, if you notice, like there's treads on that sneaker, on that shoe, like actual treads on that one. Not every band shoe has that. So if you're doing like intricate stuff, big drill moves or band body, like you want that. Like the Vanguard doesn't have that as their soul. It's not a real, like, you know, athletic shoe.
Makes me think of, makes me think of when kids have to march a show in the rain.
I was just going to say that.
And they get really nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, okay, guys, you're going to have to do this show in the rain. And they're all freaking out because, oh my God, when we have to do the body, what's going to happen? Well,
wet grass.
You know, this is what your shoe is what's going to happen. And, you know, trust your technique. But, you know, your shoe's going to take care of you. You know, your technique's going to take care of you. And if you have a good pair of marching shoes on, that's what it's designed to, you know, what it's designed for. It's designed to take care of all that stuff. Yeah. So, you know, whether they're on grass or whether they're on turf or whatever's going on. So, yeah.
Yeah. The newest shoe, the RPM, the newest shoe, and I want to, I don't know. Yeah. I always try and share my screen and I never get to, I always forget to.
Oh, I think if I get rid of your, let's see. Oh, no, it wants to kick you completely out. If you stop sharing the slideshow, you should be able to share your screen.
Yeah, I got to get my...
It won't let me get rid of your slideshow without kicking you out completely.
Yeah, I don't know. It's my computer's giving me a little bit of like, I don't want to share your screen. Yeah, I have to go and set that. I can do this. If somebody...
I want to say, too, while you're doing that, the Dinkles, the Macy's Great American Marching Band, which I go and I work with them for the Thanksgiving Day Parade, in New York, they use Dinkles and they use a white one, and they've kind of been transitioning from, I don't know what the older model is, but they've been kind of transitioning out of the older model and into the new one that you were just talking about. So just to like see like a high profile organization using that specific shoe, not every single pair of shoes is exactly the same. You've got some of the older models, some of the newer model, and they're just, you know, slowly working their way through and replacing. You know, if you got the older ones, that's fine. But if you can get the newer ones, they'll get those and they'll slowly replace them all. So,
well, I think also, you know, another thing is important to think about too is the economics of the demographics of your organization, of your band. And, you know, there are some more, let's say, budget friendly options that might work better for certain groups, because, you know, a lot of band directors might be struggling with maintaining their membership and things like that. And if you're going to come to a kid and tell them, you know, let's say the boosters aren't able to sponsor that first pair of shoes or whatever's going on, you come to that kid and you say, you've got to buy a $45, $50 pair of shoes. That might be really a big deterrent for them, unless, you know, you're really communicating well about, okay, we can help you with this or whatever could work. But, you know, there are other budget friendly options too that aren't quite as expensive that might be a little more attractive to certain groups that, you know, maybe need that to accommodate their membership a little bit better too.
This is we have a comment from Kimberly too. It says that we're definitely need something more economical. Yeah. And I think anything that can lower that threshold of getting started in band, because then you can get a lot of kids enjoying it. And once they enjoy it, sure, they'll be more interested in investing more money in it. The parents will be. But when you're just starting out and you don't really know how long you're going to be in band, how much you're going to get out of it, there's got to be a lower threshold to get started.
Yeah. And there's that whole investment there. And really, I mean, some of those students heading into 9th grade may have just paid off the instrument that they started renting, you know, when they started, depending on what year they started, you know, 4th grade, 5th grade. There are some places that don't start instrument lessons until 6th grade. So, you know, they might be just kind of economically recovering as a family from renting the instrument or paying for private lessons or whatever else is going on. And then, oh, here we go. Now we're in high school band. And now you got to get shoes and you got to get gloves and you got to get this and all stuff. It's kind of like, you know, you don't want to sticker shock people, you know, too badly. Although, I mean, I was listening to our good friend Tim Hinton and his podcast talking about the cost of junk war. And they made some really great points about, you know, that similar, you know, kind of idea that there are ways to make sure that, you know, students who want to participate are not hindered by the cost. So that's part of this too.
And I would say to the person that made the comment, sorry, I forgot your name already. I'm old.
Put her back up here. It's Kimberly.
Kimberly. I would say to Kimberly, like, okay, there are shoes out there that are like $31. And you could certainly go that route. What I would say to that is that's definitely going to be a one season shoe.
Yeah.
Like you can, you know, I mean, it's just the facts, right? Like you cannot go to Walmart and get, I mean, you go to Walmart, you're going to get a $30 shoe and that's going to last you probably less than a year. Like, let's be honest. And that, I mean, part of this is the economics where we're at, right? You know, right now, but the marching arts has done a really good job at keeping prices like down and
I'm amazed. Actually, I'm honestly so amazed at that.
Yeah, there's not been large increases in shoes at all, which tells you a lot about our activity. Just going to say that. But to spend the $40 on a shoe, you probably are going to get 2 seasons out of that shoe if you're caring of it, and if you're just a football band, and I hate saying that, just a football band. If you're only a football band, or I don't know, that still sounds bad. But I don't know why. But if your football game band
is on those types of performances, there you go. That's a great way to say it. Yeah.
Then you aren't rehearsing probably as intensely and as much, or you know, all day on a Saturday, or you know, you have just the Friday night performance at the football game and maybe a homecoming parade, right? You probably will get 2, maybe even 3 years out of a $40 shoe. You buy a $30 shoe, it's going to give you a $30 shoe. Like that's how I feel about it. You get what you pay for, right? You get what you pay for. It's better to invest in something that's going to last, get you that one extra year, because now you paid $20 per year for a shoe versus $30 for 1 year and $30 for the next, right? Like that's different. So for me, I think that's the way you have to look at it. And I think that there are ways to fundraise around a shoe. I mean, why does it have to be that, you know, a fundraiser is to a general fund? What if you have a shoe fundraising fund and it's to raise, you know, $1,000 to make sure that everybody has shoes for $10 instead of, you know, $30? I mean, there's ways to like specifically target that. And you know, $40 for a pair of shoes, you know, I mean, it's not really that bad. You know, when you're looking at like the football team or the baseball team or the wrestling team or anybody else like that, you know, is gonna have to pay for those shoes. Like those are way more. Cheerleading shoes, oh my gosh, have you ever heard, like, those are like crazy. Here you go. Here's the RPM.
All right, here's the RPM. It took that long to load.
Look at that, $39.95. Awesome.
That's a good price.
That's an excellent price.
That is a very good price. And they have, I know because I've seen this shoe in like every step of the evolution. And it's a really, really, really good shoe. It's even vegan leather. Can you imagine? But like, I just got a sample pair like 2 weeks ago. They're not even, they'll be ready in June. They'll be shipping in, well, it says in 10 days, I guess the middle of June. June 15th, I think, is the day that they're, or something like that, June 20th, that they'll start to ship out. But I had somebody put them on and, you know, in one of my bands, and they were like, this feels fantastic. My foot feels supported. It feels like I can do everything you've asked me to do. And I asked them to do a lot. You know, they're rolling all over the ground and dancing all over the field, the band is. So like, it's definitely a really good shoe. And I would encourage anybody that's maybe looking at new shoes or, you know, getting a different experience with it, that you guys look at the RPM and, you know, find out a way to get those into your program, because I actually think they're really fantastic, and they have that similar style of looking like an old school band shoe. But if you look at the bottom of the shoe, if you were able to, that like pivot point, that circle is for turn.
I was actually just thinking about this, because like all of my best dance shoes that I've used always have a spin spot underneath, and so like it just makes, you wouldn't think that little bit of difference in the sole would make a whole lot of difference, but for turning it really, really does. So if you're doing like quick turns on the field, that little spin spot is going to make a huge difference. And then like the rocked heel, how it curves under so that you can get a nice roll step. And then like we were talking about before, where it's like thinner in the arch. Like there's just so many things about this shoe that I'm excited just looking at this page about it.
Let's move on to guard shoes, because
Yes.
that's what we are, and that's kind of what we care about. I am what? What do you mean?
Don't
You're
forget
not
about the band people.
Well, I can't forget about the band people. They wear more shoes than
we have a comment. What is the best brand for guard shoes? I replied to this one kind of already, but man, there's a lot of different things you could go with here.
And I think that's what's key. It goes back to, what are you doing? What is the role of your color guard within the band proper? Are they a show, are they a show guard? Are they, bringing in the shoes? Are they a show guard? Are you, really competitive? Are you going to BOA finals? Are you, again, there's the range of people. How much do you rehearse in them? I will say the color guard shoes obviously get way more beat up than the marching shoes. It's just inevitable. And I'm also more of the mindset with the color guard that they should be wearing the shoes that they're going to perform in than their regular sneakers. I know color guards that have end up buying a second pair halfway through the season because of how much they wear them. And those are usually the successful color guards, by the way.
Well, I was gonna say, when I marched DCI, that was just standard. Like you bought 2 pairs of show shoes at the beginning of the season, and then you wore one until, halfway through, or you had one that you practiced in and one that you performed in or whatever. But usually you wear one for the first half of the season, the other one for the second half of the season. And that was standard. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could sort of talk about kind of like the standard shoes that are out there right now. Right. So and they're very similar between the manufacturers. DSI has the Everjazz, which is one of the obviously one of the most popular shoes, I think, in terms of color guard. That one is that one you have? Yeah, that's that. So that's one of the first shoes that came out that changed color guard shoes, right? Like it became more of a fitted thing to the foot. Right before the Everjazz came out, everybody was using the split sole jazz shoes, which came out of the dance world, because we were like, hey, there's these terrible band shoes that you've been making us wear and we can't point our toes. So we obviously went to the dance world, and the dance world was like, okay, here's this big giant sneaker.
This is what we do here. I've got one of those right here.
Right. And those a lot of people wear, and a lot of people, still wear. Then a lot of people got not upset, but wanted a slimmer look, wanted a more streamlined look. And for me, for example, with the Everjazz or the S5s that Style Plus has, if I have a costume that has a long leg, right before the kids go on the field, I pull that costume under that heel of the S5 or the Everjazz. And then it's just this little boop of black or, whatever color shoe you need to make it. And these can be painted that it will just be that little much instead of this big honking black shoe at the end of a, white uniform or end of a yellow uniform. I mean, that's the other thing to think about, right? Everybody is the visual side of color guard, if you have that as an option when you're building it into your costume, is to think about the footwear and the gloves when you're designing your costume. Because if you are wearing black shoes and that's what the color guard has and that's what it is, that's fine, and that makes the colors like sort of universally like everybody gets a black shoe no matter what color you individually are, right? But I would say that costume, then you want to ombre to a black, or, you know, a dark blue, so that you create this like sort of like long line. I mean, there's no doubt that and this is a reference, but I'm sure a lot of people will get it. There's no doubt when you see Minnie Mouse that she's designed to look like she is short, even though she's the same size as Mickey Mouse. And the reason they do that, or how they do that, is an all black leg and a big yellow shoe. And that makes her look cut off and short. If she had black shoes on, it would be this long line. No.
But you don't want your performers to look short.
Right. There should not be a nude shoe on a black uniform. Ever. Okay. But you should think about it, right? You should make the uniform go to the shoe, if possible. If you're doing if you're doing like an all white show, which I wouldn't, but if you feel the need, you have to do an all white show, and you want those pants to be white, I wouldn't. But you know, if you feel that's
and they don't recommend,
paint the shoe white, right? Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that, and it may require multiple touch-ups, but if you want that like very like seamless look, do it. Or flip and make sure the costume ombres to that black right at the bottom. You know, you have the drag queens who wear like the big thigh-high boots that go all the way up to their knee. There's a reason for that. It makes their leg look long. Or the beauty queens that wear a nude shoe underneath of their dress. It's to make their foot look long, right? It's to make that length happen. And if you're taking a white costume or a yellow costume and throwing on this like black hard line at the bottom, it's just like a beacon to go, look, their feet are wrong. Look, their feet are wrong. Look, their feet are wrong. But I
have a question here.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just saying, we have a question here about sorry, wait, wrong one. This one. Can you get white spats for your shoes? So what about using spats to create that?
I've seen, yes. I mean, that's great. That's great. You can get colored things. I do know of a company that is working on colored covers for your shoe. That also would be, everyone goes, oh, that would also be like weather resistant too, right? So it could be something that you either throw on and it's black because it's raining and that you want a black shoe, or you're doing a show about fire and you really want that red shoe because your pants are red, you know? Both of those things are coming in the works from what I hear. So, but to get back to like specifically the shoe, so if we bring back the Everjazz shoe, and
that is just jumped out of my hand, literally. I was trying to go and pick up the Everjazz, and
flew away. So the Everjazz is that slim line of a shoe. The thing that's interesting about that's different than the S5, which is the Style Plus version, is that the DSI one, the Everjazz is pretty much all fabric on the outside.
It's kind of like a suede feel at the toe and the front. Yeah.
And when those first came out, one of the commercials was the kid like jumping into the washer to show that they were washable, right? Which is great because you should wash your shoes. And you can with color guard shoes. You can. The S5 you can wash, and the Everjazz. The S5 for me is ever so slightly better in terms of weather. And that's important up here in the Northeast. So like, I think the Everjazz is probably great and perfect and wonderful for like those Southern guards, you know, that it's kind of like nice and warm and beautiful the whole marching season. But you start to get up north and you start to get like in other places where sometimes it's snowing at our championships. Like, I want and need a little bit more on that shoe, right? Like the, go ahead, Christine, you're looking at it.
Well,
Tell us.
I think it's important to point out too is that the S5 has some extra. The sole kind of comes up a little bit extra here on the side, down towards the toe, and up here at the point of the toe as well. Okay, so where that isn't happening on the Everjazz. So the Everjazz, the sole is completely, under on the underside of the shoe. Nothing comes up. And this toe of the Everjazz, is kind of sticking out beyond the sole. Okay. So I'm just thinking, wear and tear comparison, talking about different weather conditions and things like that. Yeah, definitely with that S5 is going to be a little bit maybe sturdier, probably also keeping the weather at bay a little bit better than maybe the Everjazz.
So Donna also asked about that, and I think this relates really well to what you're saying, Christine, is that they have been marching across campus in sneakers and then changing into their releve shoes when they got to the field. And the S5, it sounds like, would be something that you could use no matter if you're concrete or, or whatever. Is that a releve?
Yeah, I just got a releve out. Now, the thing that's interesting, too, is that the fabric that's on the side of a releve, okay, is very similar to this fabric that's on the side of an Everjazz, okay? But an S5 fabric is a little bit, it has more of a woven texture to it. And to
more
me,
elastic, I think.
Yeah,
more,
and yeah, it seems like it would be, yes, it is still very stretchy and elastic, but it seems to be like I get the impression that this would be a stronger fabric than what is on the releves even. So again, it's what you're looking for, what you need. I mean, even the soles are different between the S5 and the releve.
The releve to me is like that guard shoe that, pretty much is perfectly fine in all conditions, right? Like concrete, like you could wear this in a parade, like that's gonna be fine. I wouldn't wear an Everjazz or an S5 in a parade. I would not wear that if I was rehearsing on concrete or blacktop all day long. Like, it's just not, the sole isn't thick enough. Like, it's gonna wear and tear. It's more fabric based, right? And so like, it's just gonna get all the scuffs and the rips and all those kinds of things. Whereas like the releve platinum are a little bit more solid of a shoe. It just has more structure, right? And then, I mean, there's shoes for baton twirling that have different grip. The Nancy boot is a giant favorite of mine. If you want that style and aesthetic, I actually used the Nancy boot in like a real competitive marching band show once. It was actually for a university. You had to have seen it, Christine, at one point in time. This was like Millersville, like years ago. And they were doing like a 1970s show. So I wanted them all to look like kind of like that go-go boot vibe, right? And so I got the Nancy boots and they were like, yes,
okay, boot. Now there's a great point though. Okay, there's a great point. We were talking about design. And we're talking about choosing the correct shoes for design. Okay. So, and I think that's the thing is, we have options to work with. And yes, a lot of the manufacturers are going to focus on that competitive style, drum corps style, things like that. But there are options. And imagine if you had done that show. Yay, Nancy Boots from the 80s. But imagine if you had done that show at Millersville and you had found just some sort of whatever footwear to put on those students because you wanted a certain look, rather than making sure that they had something that was adequate to support them in the performance.
Yeah.
Right.
I even had go-go boot covers made with fringe on it. So like,
yeah.
there it was.
Right.
There it was. I fully invested into the go-go boot vibe. But yeah, I think that's what a lot of why we're doing these lives, and a lot of why I want Guard Closet to exist the way that it exists, is because you have people here that have the knowledge and could get you the right shoe or the right product for your band. The first question we're going to ask you is, what's your budget? And then what are you doing? What's the style?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? Who are you as a band? Who are you as a color guard? So that we can best service you. Because that's the thing, is if you get the right tool for the right job, you're going to have more success. You do not use a wrench to hit a nail into the wall. You can, it works, but it's not the most effective. It doesn't make the most sense. If you want to bust down a building, you're not going to use a feather. You're going to use a big hammer, so having the right tool for the job is what makes everything so much better. And that's what I think Guard Closet and Jackie and the rest of us are here for, is to make sure that you have the right tool for the job, whether that's a piece of equipment, a shoe, an undergarment, whatever, right? Like that's the thing. And what I say to everybody is, like, you look at the groups that are successful and wonder why, right? Like there may be this wonder of like, well, how did they do that? How did they have people, or they go to the people that know what they're doing to get the job done. I say it. You do not hire an electrician to do the plumber's job. You just don't. And you can do it yourself. Uncle Frank can come in and fix your plumbing, but it's going to be Uncle Frank's job fixing your plumbing and not professional fixing your plumbing. Probably will work for a year or so. Probably will get you some level of success, but it's not going to like give you everything that you would get if you were going to a professional. And I think
you have to do your research and spend your money wisely.
Yeah. The comment that we had earlier about somebody saying, like, we have to have a budget shoe. Okay, talk to us and we can help you through that process and find you the right shoe, or get you to the right place, or whatever. We're here for that. I think that's the bottom line. We're here for that.
Yeah, for sure. We have another question about going back to the Dinkles. So Dinkles has come out with a guard shoe, the Dinkle Spin, and Kimberly wants to know our thoughts on the Dinkle Spin. Do you have any of those, or?
I don't. We don't have any here.
Okay,
but
I think looking at the Dinkle Spin, I think it just doesn't look streamlined. I don't know if we're able to pull it up, but
I'll see if I can pull it up.
That one in particular, it has a lot of detail on it. It's got like these side stripes, and I mean, I'm sure it's fine.
Well, again, it might depend. It might depend on the style of the ensemble. It might depend on the purposes of the ensemble as well, whether it's going to work well for them or not.
But I will say this: it is listed as, and this is where I take a little umbrage. You both will know when I'm going to say this, is that it says it's designed for women only. So I think that kind of says everything you need to know about it. I mean, that I don't know. Anyone else think?
This is what it looks like here. Yeah. Well, and the way that the bottom of it is, okay, so just looking at the side, it does have a more of a sneaker vibe to it, but honestly, looking at the sole, I would be scared to turn on that.
Yeah, my general thing about this is, like, if I'm being honest, that the band shoe manufacturers don't do good guard shoes, and almost vice versa. That's my thought on it, because the approach is different, right? The approach is different.
Well, the entire
And
purpose is different too.
yes. So asking the question about the spin, I guess if you don't have boys and your color guard, it's fine. Which, I mean, just like, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't even say, it says men and boys sizes not applicable. Like,
Oh.
so you're ordering that one as women's sizes only. And it only goes up to a size 12 in women's, which means it's only a size 10 in men's.
10 in men's, yeah.
Wow.
And that's not going to accommodate everybody.
I have had some females on my team that have been size 14 in women's, not in men's. So yeah, there's okay.
I would say if you've got a very cute little tutu-y dance team, you know, that's just doing a little like choo choo choo, and it's going to be all girls that are going to be this big and they're like this big and like that. I think that spin shoe is probably perfect for you. I don't know that I would invest in it for any other reason. It looks very much
honestly, I would spend some more money and get something that looks similar but is more dance oriented. So like I love these. These are not guard shoes, these are dance shoes. This is like my my Capezio what do they call them? Dance shoes or something. Yeah, but it's a jazz sneaker, and like now you wouldn't want to wear this with like leggings because this is not a streamlined look. You don't want this would be more like you'd want like big jazz type pants over it or something that's got a larger leg.
Give me that.
If you want to bring the palazzo pants back out, I've seen those actually in some.
Oh God, give me a big palazzo leg. I'm here all day long. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like you want something like that, and but yeah, so you would want something more like that. I have used similar shoes in parades and things like that, and it's been great for that. I teach Zumba in these ones, and they're kind of beat up. But yeah, it's perfect for that. And like it's got like the toe box that you know, I'm not going to destroy my toes pointing my feet all the time and things like that. So that's just an idea there. If you're going to spend money and try to get a shoe for your guard like that, get, you know, something that is guard made or dance made.
Yeah. Well, I think this shoe topic is definitely rounded out. I hope that everybody feels like we've given a lot of information. I think it's just like anything. And Christine said it, like do your research. And if you don't have time, that's okay. Call Guard Closet because that's what we do. You know,
or email.
Or email. But find us and you know, that literally that's what we're here for. Like literally that's what we're here for. To walk you through. You could go on a website, you could type it in, you can buy that shoe right off any website you want to. But are you buying the right shoe for your ensemble? That I think is what you have to make sure you're doing completely.
Absolutely. I think that's great.
I do too. And so now we just have to, Jackie, Christine, and I have to leave the live to go and plan the rest of our Get It Day.
Yes, Get It Day! Guys, it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be it's next week already. Oh my gosh. It's next week, Tuesday. If you have been waiting to like buy stuff for the season, wait no more. Come on Tuesday. We're going to be live. We're going to be selling stuff. We're going to have all kinds of sales going on and discounts. And we're going to be talking to everybody and just having a grand old time from noon until 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Lots and lots and lots of flags. Lots and lots and lots of flags at really, really good prices. Like really good prices. I was like talking to Style Pluses, which is one of the participants of Get It Day, and there are deep discounts coming on flags that are less than a year old, like brand new stuff that is going to be hugely discounted for everybody that's watching and everybody that's paying attention on that day. That's going to be the key, y'all. Like, so we're promoting this, and Get It Day is Get It Day. Like, it's going to be like a 24-hour, sale for like flags and some shoes and some other items that we'll be doing. So giving out a ton of information on that day. We have all of the guard closet people stopping by. We're going to be live at the consignment warehouse in Pennsylvania looking at some consignment items. We're going to be live in the consignment warehouse in Texas looking at some of their consignment items. So we're really here to answer your questions on consignment items, or whatever it is. We have lots of people. If you want to learn about how we do the microsites, somebody's coming in to talk about that. If you're looking for choreography or show design or flag design or costume design, we're going to have people here talking about that. Like, it is an all day Get It Day event that we're going to be here talking. And I'm almost worried that I will probably be sitting in this chair for 8 hours. Only because that's what I feel like that's what I'm gonna want to do. Like, I'm just gonna be so like, oh my god, like
you have to arrange for food delivery, right? Like, you can't get out of the chair, so bring me a lunch, right?
What's he talking about now? What are they showing? What are they selling? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready.
Let's see if our guests are excited about Get It Day 2. Let's bring them back.
Oh, Cheyenne,
hey, Cheyenne and Grace.
Hello.
Yeah.
Super excited about Get It Day.
Super excited about Get It Day.
Oh,
Have you guys already got all your
think about
equipment for the
the
fall?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not teaching this fall just yet, I don't think, but getting ready
That's
for...
not a thing. Not teaching yet. Somebody will find you.
Oh, I know.
Somebody will find you, and they.
If anybody needs
there is
some
no
color guard
not
instructing
this year.
Yeah, if anyone in like Western Kentucky, Southern Illinois, West Tennessee,
there you go. You need some help.
I'm
Call
down.
Cheyenne.
Yeah.
There you go. Cheyenne's here for it.
But getting ready for winter season because we're starting from scratch. So we need all the help that we can get.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was looking at some of the items today and I was like, you're really going to make those 50% off? Really? Those
listen, we already have our design, like our show design, everything. Like, we're on the ball for it. So I'm ready to see what there is.
I'm sure there's going to be something lovely that will and I saw a new product. A new product on there that's going to be discounted. Brand new. That's going to be the LeMay alternative.
Ooh.
And it's not Genesis?
It is, well, esque, but it looks fully like LeMay without being the delicateness of LeMay, without that like rip that always happens right at the tab. You know what I'm talking about? Like that LeMay flag just goes like right away.
This is why so many consignment items tend to be problematic. If they have LeMay, it tears so easily, and it doesn't last as long. Oh, I'm so excited!
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So, yes, I hope Grace and Cheyenne, you got a full shoe knowledge that you never expected to get. And that it informs everybody else. And it, if you have questions or anything, feel free to reach out. I mean, Christine is literally the shoe guru, and if you have if you have any needs or you have anything, like we're here, and that's what we want to provide. So any more questions or concerns, please reach out to us.
Yeah, definitely.
You can, like I said before, like, find us on social media, message us on social media, and we will get back to you. And if you want to be on our show, like wonderful Grace and Cheyenne here, I'll be putting that in our Instagram story, and you can sign up, and we might pick your name out. If we pick your name and you get to be on our show and come play Heads Up with us, and tell them how much fun it was, guys. It was so much fun, right?
Oh, it's so much fun.
Super stressful.
little stressy spaghetti.
Grace will never forget the state of Indiana ever again in her life.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, this is awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Guys, thanks for
you.
watching. Make sure you like this video and share it with your friends, with your guard teammates, with your directors.
Share it with your band
students.
director. Share it with your band director. Share it with your band director, please.
Tell your band directors. We need guard shoes for guard that are different from the band shoes. We have different needs.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be talking to my band director, the rest of the captains, about Get It Day. We'd be like, look, we got to get on there. I don't even know what our show is, but we got to get on there.
Yep.
But I gotta be there for Get It Day.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing Get It Day next week. This show, Secrets from the Guard Closet Live, is going to be taking the week off because of Get It Day, but we will be back the following week. So make sure you guys are subscribed, like our Facebook pages, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and all of the other social medias. Make sure you're there for Jeremy's TikTok obsession, which is just on the brink of happening. It's there. He's so close. You want to be there for that. Don't miss it. Follow on TikTok at Guard Closet.
I hate you.
All right. And thanks, guys, for coming. And we'll see you next week.
See you on Tuesday, June 14th. Get It Day,
Tuesday,
Flag Day.
June 14th, Flag Day. Woohoo!
Flag
Get It Day.
Flag Day.